This tank is the STRV-S1. This is a Swedish Tier 8 tank destroyer. The map is Epic Normandy. My idea, the enemy just won Cap C, and they're going to start advancing. We've only got 4 players on my team, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 on the other team. I have the highest rank of all the players, but the enemy does have a lot of skilled players on their team. And it's difficult to find a sniping position. I searched on this side to see if I could find a good sniping position for this style of tank. It's not here. So if you have this style of tank, don't rush out to this area and expect to find something good. This is good for heavy tanks and your average ordinary tank, or a tank that can escape quickly. Now, I'm not saying that you can't hit anything, but what I'm saying is once you got spotted, you're going to have a problem, because you can't quickly hide behind a rock like your allies can. And that's basically what's going to happen. Yeah, they're going to spot me. I can't reverse. Reversing is going to be a death trap for me. At some point, I'm going to take incoming fire, and I'm going to have low hit points. Let's see if that Scorpion comes out again. Yeah, I only got 300 hit points left. I was checking to see if I could reverse, and there was no way out. Now the question is, can I get out of here without dying? And my immediate thought was, if that tank had not exploded, he probably would have blocked that shot. So this was not a good sniping position, and I don't recommend it for the STRV style of tank or any turretless tank destroyer. This tank is the AMX CDA 105. This is a French Tier 8 tank destroyer. The map is Epic Normandy in the Frontline game mode. In this particular game, I'm over 7,000 damage, 6,000 blocked by armor, 3,300 spotting damage. And the enemy just capped us in Zone E. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a fallback position. And because I haven't played in a while, what you really want to do is get them right as they're approaching the repair area. Prevent them from getting repairs, because once they repair, they're going to go back to full health. So look for the weak tanks that are going to the repair. If you nail them on that repair cap, then they lose their ability to repair. But unfortunately, this is not a good sniping position because I don't have the altitude that I need, or the height. So what I decided to do was to locate a new position, and you have to be aware the enemy can swarm on you very quickly. So if you're on the front line, like I was, and the enemy is advancing on you, you really have to play conservatively, because the enemy will advance on you very quickly, especially if they're not spotted. If they're not spotted, you're not going to see them coming, and they will quickly overwhelm you. And if you don't have sniper support, they will advance very quickly. So I decided to come to this fallback position, and the enemy is right at my range, so I'm not able to snipe them on the cap. But because, you know, it's the first day we've been playing Frontline, I don't know the ideal positions yet. I wasn't sure what to do. You know, there's a lot of things that are going to be blocking you, and I didn't want to go to the same place where my allies were, but I will if I have to. You want to set up a line of defense. I noticed that there was a defender coming, and perhaps my allies hadn't noticed, so I knew I had to do something about this. I'm low on hit points. I really got to make it to that repair facility. I'm definitely sure I'm not going to make it. So my idea was head for these bushes. As soon as I go through those bushes, I'm unspottable. But I'm going to make a serious mistake here. I'm going to drop the artillery. You want to wait until he's not moving, unless you can time where he's going to be in 4 seconds. And I thought I was far back enough, but I seem to have gotten spotted. I mean, that's far back enough that I should not have gotten spotted. There's no tanks out there that red over there is a turret. There's nobody out here who could have spotted me. There's nobody over here who could have spotted me. That's far enough away. I should not have been spotted, but I was. And when the game was being tested, I complained that I believe that there were problems with the spotting mechanics because I was being spotted when I don't think I should have. It's possible that they did an airplane flyover. I didn't see any planes fly over. But when I did that, people just mocked me and say, no, you're an idiot. But, you know, I got spotted. It made no sense. But the mistake I made was that I assumed that I would be unspotted and they wouldn't think to shoot in the same spot again. But what I did was I kept on reversing, and he can shoot at me if I become invisible. He just has to shoot straight forward, and he can put me out of the game, and that's what he did. So I made that mistake, but like I said, it's a potential bug in the game. I was clearly far enough away from those bushes. I don't think there's any reason why I should have been spotted. And I have, on this tank, I've got 5 cruise skills, which includes BIA. They all have full camo cruise skills, and there is a possibility that I have a camo net, but I'm really not sure. Probably not. This tank is the Lorraine 40T. This is a French Tier 8 medium tank, and the map is Epic Normandy from the Frontline game mode. I've been having trouble with a guy sniping on me while I'm trying to cap the base, and if he's sniping on me, he's going to snipe on my allies, and none of my allies are doing anything about it. So I decided to pick up an autoloader and go after him. The one drawback that I'm going to have is that there's not only going to be one tank there, but his buddy's going to show up, so there's going to be 2 tanks there. And I'm not going to know it. I'm going to assume it because I see the IS-3 on the map. I'm going to assume that he's going to be a threat also. But when I realize that they're both in the exact same location, I can't kill both of them. There they are. Now I just discovered that they're both in the exact same location. And I haven't played on this. This is, in fact, probably the first time I've played since last year on this side of the map, so I wasn't sure the best way to go after them. But I had to do whatever I could and try to focus on that IS-6 because he's the one that was being a pain in my butt. And he's on lower health. So I wasted 1 shot, and my allies did an air assault, and they finally did something about that guy. But unfortunately, we still haven't capped base B. We've got a lot of tanks that are near the cap, but no one's on it. And it looks like the IS-3 was also taken out of the game. So now we can get onto that base in a capping position. Now, I want to make it easy for my allies. My tank is not the ideal tank to sit on that cap. So what my idea was, obviously go to the repair point. But I'm thinking maybe I can go around and flank and get behind the enemy and get some shots in their rear. Because the enemy has strong frontal armor, weak rear armor. So why don't I get behind them? Oh, look what happens. I discovered somebody on the way over. Not quite paying attention. Unfortunately, I only penetrated 2 of the 4 shots. Perhaps I missed one of the shots. And he hit me for 1. So it kind of wasted the use of the autoloader. I do have 2 allies in the area. And I have a plan that when I reload, I'm going to go after that guy. Now, because I'm reloading, I decided to drop artillery. Unfortunately, it didn't show you who I dropped it on. I dropped it on the Ferdinand. The Ferdinand who was defending the base. I rammed him for 250 damage. But unfortunately, he did a lot more damage to me. He did 460 damage to me. What's important is that he's out of the game. It's going to be a while before I can use the repair. It's going to be another 2 minutes. So this is going to be very interesting. Watch what's going to happen. So I thought, okay, I can get some. I noticed that I could get some side shots on this Alpine Tiger, or maybe there's 2 Alpine Tigers. And something really crazy is going to happen. I don't know if it's a bug or a feature, but they're just going to disappear. They're literally going to disappear right in front of my eyes. So it's either a bug in the game or they used the feature to relocate something weird. Like, watch what's going to happen. See that Alpine Tiger? Watch what happens. Just disappeared. And he wasn't the only one. A bunch of tanks disappeared. It's possible that it's a threat in the game that died or something like that. But I also died, so I was out of the game. And I checked over here to see who the Alpine Tiger was. And it says it's a guy named Target from SLRMK. And what happened was, I died. He is going to show up over here when I come in with my next tank later in this replay. He's going to be on full health. At the point that we last saw him, he had like 350 hit points, and he's going to have driven from the spawn point on his team down to the base. So it's as if he just suddenly went back to the spawn point without dying. I don't understand what happened. This tank is the Lorraine 40T. This is a French Tier 8 medium tank. It's also an autoloader. The map is Epic Normandy for the Frontline game mode. Now, for me to take out this tank means that I want to get a lot of kills. And the one thing about the autoloaders is you can catch those enemy tanks as they have to travel a long distance out in the open. Watch what happens over here. Watch what happens. And no damage. So there's going to be gaps between, in the valleys, between buildings. Tanks have to cross a long distance. You got an autoloader. You can hit them at long distance. So that's one of the things that oh, did we lose the game? Oh, we won the game. The game's over. This tank is the ELC Even 90. It's a French Tier 8 light tank, and the map is Epic Normandy from the Frontline game mode. I just finished capturing, with two of my allies, the F base. Now I got to come up with a plan for what I'm going to do. Now, if you look over here on the map, we're advancing on all the turrets. If D were not captured yet, then what I would do is I would head out to Objective 1, because there'd be nobody there. There'd be no defenders there. So what I'm going to do, obviously go to repairs. What I'm going to do is spot for my team and maybe sneak around behind. Oh, obviously drop down artillery on Mr. Oho. I did drop it on the Oho. Didn't get to see if any damage was done, so I'm assuming that it looks like no damage was done to the Oho. Okay, so now I have to come up with a plan. It looks like I've got another strike that I can do. Let's see how this one goes. I did 92 damage on that tank. Now you'll notice that I've got the recon combat reserve that just became available. And if you look on the map, you're going to see that there's a lot of unspotted tanks in the city to my left, which is between Objective 3 and Objective 4. So what I could do is I could run a recon flight over all of those areas so that my allies can see where those tanks have moved on to. My tank is very delicate. It's really not necessary to do any spotting because all the enemy tanks are going to be spotted. If I see a need for spotting enemy tanks, obviously I'm going to do it. I don't think they have that many hidden tanks. So what I'm going to do is take up more of a sniping position, stay distant from the enemy, look for an opportunity to sneak up and get behind the enemy. So we go to the red line. We're going to be safest on the red line. I just got some spotting damage on the Somua, and I got spotting damage on an IS-5. So we're looking for a sniping position. Maybe I'll be able to do some damage to this tank. Okay, so I got one of them out of the game, and I'm reloading. Now I'm doing that recon flight through the city that I was telling you about. I didn't really do it through the city. I did it in a different area. It looks like it did spot an artillery piece. Now, the key is keep on advancing when it's safe. Try to get at least to the side of the 5 turret. Some tanks can penetrate the side of the turrets. For example, an STRV will probably be able to penetrate it. But the reason why you want to do it is you want to clear the path for your allies. You want to make it safe for your allies to get to that position. I can't brawl with enemy tanks near the objectives, so I'm going to be helping my allies take those positions. And because I have an autoloader, I can really protect my allies if they need it in a pinch. So I saw an opportunity to advance upfield a little bit. Maybe I've gone too far, and I realize now that I've gone too far. So I might have done something really stupid. I see a vulnerable tank over here. Maybe I can take him out. Oh! Oh! Ah. Okay, so that was 3 AP rounds. None of them penetrated. It looks like we do have the same number of people spawned. There's a lot of people spawned on this front. However, we do have a few that are out of the game. It also looks like we have perhaps a general that did spawn on this side. This tank is the Chrysler GF. This is an American Tier 8 heavy tank, and the map is Epic Normandy from the Frontline game mode. I've discovered that this is the ideal tank for me to begin each game. It's got a reasonable speed, it's got great armor, it's great for capturing bases, it's great for defending bases. So this is my go-to tank. When you're playing on the coast, which is A, B, and C, and you're attacking, if the enemy's winning, you want to roll out with as many heavy tanks as possible because you want your strong armor to keep you in the game. I'm going to keep low. There's a lot of tanks shooting at me. They're already knocking down my hit points. I got to get that cap timer running. Got a lot of threats, and my allies got to help me out here. I'm just going to get on enough of the cap to get that timer running. And I'm checking to see the proper position. I don't want to be out in the open, but I'm concerned about what position do I take to best protect myself. So I realized that it was a mistake to advance forward. I certainly don't want to be fighting these tanks. That's a really bad angle for my tank. Gladly I corrected it. Gonna keep firing that gun. Blocking lots of damage. He's gonna be out of the game. I'm aiming for the rear because I assume that he's gonna reverse. Oh, I did take some damage. I took 86 damage. Okay, so now I'm a one-shot. I really should go for repairs. Okay, so we just finished capturing a base. And we need to head north to start going after the primary objective, which are those gun turrets. I need to get to that repair facility. It says that I've been damaged by artillery fire, so obviously someone dropped some artillery on me. So far for this game, I did 2,600 damage, 5,200 blocked by armor, 2,000 spotting. I'm going to say on average I do around 6,000 to 8,000 damage. It's pretty typical. It depends on what tank you play. If you play primarily for capping, you're not necessarily going to do a lot of damage. So I do need to make sure that I can get to the resupply point. I am a little bit concerned that in the north in front of me there's a lot of enemy tanks. There's a T-32, a T-44, an IS-3, a Panther II, another T-44. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my allies are repairing. They're going to repair and resupply. They're going to hopefully start advancing forward. And then once they've moved onward, I'm going to slowly follow them from behind. Now, one of the things that I know about this game is because my tank is very slow, I'm never going to make it to those objectives. I'm never going to get behind those guns. So what my plan is to support my team from long range. Anything that they spot or whenever they're in danger, I'm going to try and take out any tanks that I can see from wherever I am, even if I got to chase the tanks down. This is an example where I'm repositioning so I can hit some tanks that are closest to me on the minimap. Unfortunately, I didn't do any damage. Very important that I don't get spotted because I do need repairs. And he's out of the game. So I'm going to go do my repairs. We got 5 minutes left. We need to advance. Oh, they are advancing. Okay, so we've only captured E. They haven't advanced in the other two zones yet. You don't want to get hit while you're on the repair zone. If you get hit, it's going to stop your repairs, and then you're going to get the 3 or 4 minute penalty before you can resupply. It's 4 minutes. So now I'm going to try to figure out where can I find some enemy tanks to go shoot at. And you'll notice that I do keep an angle. Why want to show me? I do keep a relative angle on my tank. You keep the gun over the inside corner of the track. That angle is going to help deflect some incoming fire. Objective 2 reached. You notice that I'm already adjusting my angle. I'm constantly adjusting my angle. They're all shooting at me, and I'm out of the game.